Okay, today we are going to do the official Picolot brew guide. Well, this is a recipe that will work across a variety of coffees, but for today I just want to show you what we're doing and how we kind of approach brewing these coffees. I would say that this recipe works really well for the roasting style we're presenting. Really what is going to change is the coffee that we release. So for example, we have some really cleanly processed natural coffees, the naturally processed that are a little more expressive, a little fruitier, up to very, very clean, floral, and even delicate coffees. So what I want to present today is just a recipe that works well for both of those styles of coffees that you can easily adapt to other coffees and other styles. The current brewer that we're very happy with right now is the Orea Z1. So right here I have the Z1. This has just been such a forgiving brewer. So if you're using this with almost any of these coffees nowadays, they're tasting great as long as you kind of follow certain grind sizes and temperatures and pouring patterns. Although I would say that this is arguably one of the most forgiving brewers that will just help you understand, like, what does a coffee taste like? The dose that we use for almost all of our brews nowadays is 15 grams. Now, of course, you can adapt this for larger doses and smaller doses, but we find 15, at least for the size of some of these coffees, 15 grams gives you at least 3 to 4, 5, 6 brews that you can do out of a bag, and you should be able to, understand a coffee by then. Now, the thing here is water is incredibly complex. I'm going to try to simplify things just so you can taste what we're tasting. We're going to kind of simplify this and just do water so that you guys can at least taste what we are experiencing. Of course, this highly depends on your water systems and all of that. It's very, very complicated, but we're going to try to simplify things, and we're just going to use a concentrated solution of third wave. So this is just 1 stick of third wave classic in a 1 gallon distilled water, and just a pure distilled water. And in the kettle, I like to do this where I just throw the kettle on the scale. I'm going to pour 100 mils or 100 grams of my concentrate, and I'm going to pour about 350 to 400 mils of just clean, normal distilled water. So concentrate mixed with distilled water, that's basically what it is. You can play with this ratio. I would say start at 1:3 ratio. I personally prefer a lot of these coffees in the 1:3.5 to 1:4 ratio with this specific water recipe, which is the third wave diluted recipe. So I have 100 mils of water in here. I am going to add 400 mils of just straight distilled. So I know a lot of you guys are on custom water. The reason why I'm doing this is so that this at least gets us some sort of baseline of this is what I think our coffee should taste like. A lot of you guys building custom water recipes, you guys know a lot more about your specific preferences. We are doing this so that there is a baseline brew water that works, I think, pretty well across all the different processing styles and different styles of coffee that we present. And then it gives you a brew that you can then post-brew remin. So, you can add a drop of Apex Lab, you can add your own concentrates and all of that. So I have tended to prefer to go just a little bit softer, or a little bit larger of a ratio of this third wave diluted solution. Now, of course, please feel free to play around with that. A lot of that is just preferential. The temperature we are brewing a lot of our coffees at nowadays, especially with something like the Z1, is 95 Celsius. And I find that 95 is a really good range for some of these coffees where it will give you a good idea of the acidity. It gives you really great sweetness, especially if you're using something like the Z1. We can really just take advantage of the fact that this brewer is very efficient. The other thing too is with some of these more processed coffees, or I would say fermentation forward expressions, 95 seems to just unlock most of what I'm looking for in the coffee. I do want to mention for this, you can always change temperature. Now, this is also personal preference. For some of you who are a little less sensitive to astringency and you really, really want to push out all the acidity in these coffees, go up to 98, go up to 100 Celsius if you really want to. But what we recommend you do if you are using zero bypass Z1 and you're trying to do what we're doing here is use 95. Start there and then tweak. Now, my dose is 15 grams for the Z1. I find this to be a really good balance between bed depth and the speed of the brewer and some of these recipes. So this specific recipe I'm doing is just going to be 3 pours. It'll be very straightforward. I'll talk a little bit about it after we grind the coffee. Grind size is complicated to talk about. On something like this, the M98V, we are about 300 microns. And on something like ZP6, we're around 5. And what's nice about the Z1 and these coffees and this roasting style is that even if you're off by a little, I think you're gonna get most of what the coffee has, especially if you're getting some of the more fruit-forward presentations of coffee like the Mochita or SL34 Natural. And of course, with all of this focus on taste, I'm just telling you what we are doing here. And of course, if you have any questions, write in and we'll help you out. I'm just gonna grind some coffee up. Another note on grind size, if you're brewing with Z1 and you are going to do this recipe that I'm doing, target around 2.5 upwards of 3 minutes. So I got the coffee in here. Let's talk real quick about the recipe. It is 3 pours. The first pour is really, really fast. I would say 10 to 15 mils. Just pour water on it. Pour in very fast circles up to 60 grams. And then we're going to let that sit there for 1 minute. What you'll see is on something like the Z1, this first layer is going to be very dark, very concentrated, and you'll see those droplets form. The next pour I'm going to do is I'm going to pour also very, very fast at the same flow rate, basically 10 to 15 mils, depending on what kettle you're using. And I'm going to just let that drain through. And right when that's right about to finish draining through, I'm going to do a third pour at about 2 to 3 mils, slowly up until 250 mils. The final pour you do is where you can adjust a lot of the flavor expression of these coffees. So when you're pouring that slow, what you can do is you can just extend the ratio or shorten the ratio. We like to start somewhere in that 15 to 250 range just to see. It's like, okay, do we want a little more body? Maybe we pour a little bit less. Do we want more extension of flavors? Maybe we pour up to 1 to 17, added 5 more mils. So it's a good starting point. But here we go. Let's go ahead and brew. Again, the kettle is 95 Celsius, and I am going to pour very quickly up until I have 60 mils of water right there. On this specific kettle, we're about 20 mils a second, but on many kettles, as long as you're pouring above 10 mils a second and you're just really saturating this puck of coffee with all the water, you're gonna get a lot of beautiful dynamics. And we are operating at a grind size where we are seeing, look at how dark that is, right? We are extracting things, and if you look at the bottom of the Z1, you'll see those droplets, get formed, and they're coming out a little bit slower. When we hit up to 1 minute here, we then do the same pour up to 170, or you can even be 160. As long as you add 100 mils of water in here, it seems to work out really well. But again, this is a very forgiving brewer, so you can kind of do whatever. This is a pouring structure that I like. So, at 1 minute, I'm going to pour up to 170. And you can start already seeing the column of water here on the Z1 start to change. So as you build up water columns on the Z1, you're really just seeing coffee dissolving happen. And we already see that this base level with that first layer that we brewed, very nice and dark. The second pour that we did is already clearing up this column. It's making it cleaner. And we're actually seeing the brew and the droplets become clearer and sometimes even speed up depending on coffee. Once this column of water almost goes all the way down here, like we're seeing it almost go down, I am going to then just do my final pour slowly up until this final ratio that I want. So I'm pouring at about 3 mils a second, going in those slow circles. And I'm maintaining a kind of this little water column in the Z1 that you can see just get clearer and clearer and clearer. And we're pouring at about as fast as the Z1 is draining out. And you just do this all the way up until the ratio you want to hit. So in this case, we're going 15 to 250. This is gonna wrap up at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is pretty fun. This is a clear glass, so we can actually see kind of coffee getting extracted and all the different colors here. But that's how you do it. So it's 3 pours, very straightforward. And that entire time here, I had the kettle off. So I started at 95 Celsius and I'm letting the kettle just naturally decline in terms of temperature. So we are getting kind of a rounder and sweeter finish. That's kind of what I've observed. But pretty much that is the Z1 recipe. So that's this. And you can see on brews like the Z1 here, you see that that first pour that we did, that longer bloom, brings a lot of this darker color here. So we are operating at higher extractions. So this is kind of the logic of this Z1 recipe. The first pour, which is this long bloom, heavy agitation, gives you a lot of dynamic acidity in the cup. The second pour, which is also really, really fast, gives you a lot of lovely sweetness in the cup. And then the third pour, which is this really, really slow 2 to 3 mils pour, gives you a lot of clarity into the cup. It gives you kind of that extension of acidity. It's really fun to play with this brewer because if you did the third pour the same as the second pour, which is just dump water on it, you'll find a much more sweetness forward presentation. But I find that third pour, if you just slow it down, you really, really slow it down, you get so much lovely clarity and just extension of flavors. So that's the kind of thing that we're aiming for with these coffees and this specific brew style, is that these coffees are loud. A lot of these coffees are very, very, very loud. In fact, there's a lot of sweetness, a lot of character in them, and we kind of just want to unlock them, right? We want to say, like, here is the beautiful acidity, here's a really nice sweetness, and here's a definition. So I find that each of these pours that we're doing and these pieces of equipment and the recipe that we're doing maximizes a lot of that in the cup. So that is what we end up here. I'm going to taste it. I have this wine glass here. And you can see with the Z1 brews, it's not super clear, right? It is a higher extraction style of brewer. And that is what's so much fun with this, is we can actually push some of these coffees a little bit harder, right? We're using a relatively fine grind size. We can take advantage of these longer blooms and all this agitation and different styles of agitation without the coffee tasting painful in any sort of way. So this is like this weird logic that I have with coffee. And to kind of tie this all back to the water, most of coffee is water. This at least gives us a good baseline of what to do if we want to ream-in, right? Or if we want to say, okay, I want to start with a thing that could already be very, very tasty outside of the cup, but say I want to optimize, or I want to move the coffee in the direction that I prefer. So that is where like the softer concentrate here works out a little bit better, right? The longer ratio of concentrate to distilled water. Now let's taste this. With all of these coffees, let them cool. And it's fun to always get some sort of aromatic glass. This specific coffee is so nice. You taste a little bit of everything happening here. That's what's really fun about pour-over brewing, is you can taste like how do each of the styles of pouring water in the brewer, how does that impact flavor, right? So I'm definitely tasting more dynamic acidity that's up front. I'm tasting so much sweetness, but then in that acidity that exists in all of this, I'm getting a lot of that detail. You can experiment too with this brewer and with all of these, is, maybe instead of the second pour, you pour so fast, you pour slow. What if you pour slow all the way through? What if you pour fast all the way through, right? You'll really find very big differences in terms of sweetness and acidity for the Z1, in my opinion at least. My thought is, okay, let's kind of combine all of those together so that we are able to express these coffees in a very expressive way, but also in a way that is easy to drink, right? I still find most people, you want the sweetness, but I don't want just coffee to be sweet and balanced. I want it to have dynamic acidity. I want it to have punch, right? And that's what a lot of the coffees that we're featuring taste like. They're very loud, if that makes sense. And we just want to unlock all of that. Okay, I forgot to record an outro to this, so I'm recording this like months later, but that is the Z1 recipe. So basically it is fast, fast, slow. What you can adjust is fast, fast, fast 3 times, or fast, slow, slow. I would suggest tasting each of those layers. Like, taste if you pour fast versus slow, and try to pull off the Z1 and taste different layers of it. The reason why I went with this specific recipe is that I think it gives me enough acidity, enough clarity, and good sweetness. Like, I find the Z1 to just be a really sweet brewer, especially if you just pour very, very fast. But I wanted to have some nice definition of acidity, which is why I added that slow pour in there. And the reason why I also suggest you do do the water recipe the way that I've done it, which is just dilute the third wave water, is that it gives you room to play with if you want to add more minerals after. So I find if you use softer concentration of third wave, you know, it gives you a good baseline area to move the coffee in whatever direction you want, especially with post-brew and Bremen. But for those of you who are a little more inclined, who know a little bit more about water, this isn't really a big issue for you. But for most people, it's like, look, if you just want to taste what we're tasting, I would do this for water. Grinders and all of that, of course, you can use very high-end grinders like M98V, 078, Max, and all of that. But most of these coffees, especially if you're brewing coffees from us or from other roasters, the Z1 is going to unlock most of that coffee. Like if you're using a good enough grinder, of course, and you're using good enough water. So that's what I suggest. If you have any questions, you know, let me know. It's in the Discord. Hang out with the guys in the Discord. But yeah, that is the Z1 recipe that I've been rocking for the past few months. It's just a combination of pouring fast and slow. So I hope that was fun. Thank you so much. Please pick up some coffees from Picolot. We'd really appreciate it. And hang out in the Discord. See you guys in the next one.